and welcome to this and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now today I am bringing you my Sky Bet League One predictions for this Easter weekend. Now loads of games. This is normally where miracles happen. So Bristol Rovers and Josephine might get a win. I'm only joking, Bristol Rovers fans. No, it's going to be an absolute crack of a weekend. It's going to be deciding who goes down and who goes up, in my opinion. We'll come back to these results later in the season. I'm going to predict them. There's a load of games this weekend. I think there's 10 games in total. Let's get on with it. We're predicting Friday's fixtures. Also, if you're new to the channel, please remember to like and subscribe. It is free to do so and would help me out a lot. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to start off with the early kickoff. Doncaster against Charlton. Now, Doncaster have only one win in 6, no win in the last 5. They are starting to fall apart a bit. Andy Butler's come in, not made the impact that he would have hoped. Darren Moore obviously went to Sheffield Wednesday, their local rivals, earlier on this season. Charlton look a bit rejuvenated in the last few games. They're unbeaten in 6. They got a good draw against Wimbledon under Nigel Atkins. He'll be able to get his philosophy over. I love big Nigel Atkins. His Twitter videos, he's very keen on the motivational side of football. I do fancy a Charlton win. I'm going to go for a Doncaster Rovers 0, Charlton 1. The Addicts coming away with a vital 3 points in this one. The next one, I am going for Accrington Stanley against Burton Albion. Now, Accrington have just come off losing 7-0 to Peterborough. Although they have beaten Wigan and Swindon at home of late, Burton have that run come to an end. They got a point against Blackpool, but they've lost a couple of late. They lost to Shrewsbury in one of the latest games. I do think Burton will have enough to stay up. I think they probably need about another 2 wins and a draw maybe to stay up from the last 9 or 10 games. I think they'll have enough. Accrington, I don't think they're in a promotion push anymore, mid-table at best. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Accrington will look to try and shut the door, really, try and get a clean sheet, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one. Next up is Crewe against Hull. Now, Hull are flying. They are top of the league currently on 70 points. But Peterborough and Sunderland are just behind them with games in hand as well. This season is going to be so interesting to see how it goes. I am going to fancy a Hull win on this one. I think Crewe are a good side. Dave Artell, in my opinion, is one of the best managers in League One. And he's done a fantastic job there. I am going to fancy a Hull win. They are going to keep up their promotion fight. I'm going to go for Crewe 0. Hull City 2. Next up, we have a promotion rival up against Peterborough. No, I'm only joking. It is Fleetwood against Peterborough. The Posh won 7-0 against fellow Lancashire outfit Accrington Stanley. Although 10 days ago on the Foul Coast, they did lose by 3-1 against playoff chasing Blackpool. And Blackpool did very well that night. Peterborough were poor. Peterborough normally better at home. They beat us early on in the season at their stadium 2-1 with 2 late goals. I do fancy a draw in this one, if I'm honest with you. I think I'd take it. I'm going to go for Fleetwood 1, Peterborough 1. Peterborough peg back while Fleetwood continue their decent run of form under new manager Simon Grace. I'm going to go for Fleetwood Town 1, Peterborough United 1. Next up, the Tractor Boys are at home against Josephine's Gas. Now, Joey's only won 2 games out of 10, but he has come into a poison challenge. And I believe when he gets all these players in and it starts as a new resolution, I do believe he is the man to turn them around. I believe maybe they could bring Wes Burns in or a few of the lads from Fleetwood, and that could help him along the way. But going back to this weekend's games and fixtures, I am going to fancy an Ipswich win on this one. They've not started too greatly under Paul Cook, but I do fancy a win. I think Ipswich have got to play 5 of the bottom 6, so they're not out of the promotion push. They're going to start that this weekend. I'm going to go for Ipswich Town 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Next up, Northampton against the Shrews. Northampton are fighting for their lives. They got a great win against Oxford, but they missed a penalty in the last minute against Wimbledon. Conceded a last-minute goal against Wimbledon. They need to win this one to stay alive, and I believe they will get that. Shrewsbury have improved under Steve Cotterill, although I think they've been up and down of late, like a mid-table side is. I'm going to fancy a Northampton 1-0 win. They're going to get a vital 3 points, another clean sheet on the board, and they're going to keep it in. And like I say, this relegation dogfight is going to carry on and carry on and carry on. The next on is another relegation side, and Plymouth Argyle play Wimbledon at home park. Now, Plymouth actually are very good in the first half. They're actually second in the first half table, but second half, that is where it normally falls apart for them. I do believe Plymouth will win this game. They got a good point against Blackpool last week. You know, Jephcott's not scored in 12 games, but they've got Hardy, they've got Ennis, they've got other good players in that team. Bit too much for Wimbledon. I believe they're going to run its course soon, that Wimbledon team in League One. Plymouth Argyle 2, Wimbledon 0. Great news for the bottom 6, but not good news for Wimbledon. Now, another game of the day, a big 6-pointer. It's Danny Cowley's Portsmouth against Brian Barry Murphy's Rochdale. It is a 6-pointer. It was a draw earlier on this season. Portsmouth need a win. That'd make it 3-3 under the Cowleys. You know, Rochdale won at Lincoln of late and got a good point against Peterborough. Haven't played for a couple of weeks now. They'll be energised, but I do fancy a Portsmouth win. I believe they'll get the playoffs now. They look like they're playing a style of football, and they're finally using the carpet at Fratton Park, and they like to get the ball down and play instead of just launching it long by 90 yards like they did on the Kenny Jacket. I'm going to fancy a big 3-0 win for the boys in blue. Portsmouth 3, Rochdale 0. Another big game. It is Sunderland against Oxford. Now, this is going to be an absolute cracker. I'm fancying a Sunderland win. They are on fire at the moment. They are 10 games unbeaten. They're third in the league with 2 games on hand. On top with 3 points behind. They're 2 points behind Peterborough with a game in hand as well. So they're flying at the moment. I think they'll win the league. I've tipped them to say that. And I'm going to fancy them to win 2-0 again. In my opinion, they've got some of the best centre-halves in the league in Dion Sanderson. They've got a good defender in Luke O'Nine. They've got Aidan McGeady. They've got Charlie White. An unbelievable squad, and I fancy Sunderland to continue their title or promotion charge this weekend. And finally, Swindon against Blackpool. Now, I'm going to fancy a Blackpool win in this one. Blackpool don't concede many away when they've won. They've actually only conceded 2 goals away this season when they've won. That was Peterborough away, they won 2-1, and Burton away when they won 2-1. Other than that, it's been kind of 1-0 against MK Dons, 2-0 against Oxford, 3-0 against Charlton. So they do like a clean sheet, Blackpool. I'm going to go for 1-0. They don't score many, Blackpool, but they can keep a clean sheet, and that's what they prided themselves on this season. I'm going to fancy more misery for John Sheridan's men, a setback, but more delight for Neil Critchley's Tangerines. They are my predictions. This is how the table would look if they came in. As you can see on screen now, you know, Sunderland getting that win, they're flying. Hull getting that win. You know, Peterborough within touching distance as well. In the bottom 4, you got Rochdale down there, Bristol Rovers down there, Swindon and Wimbledon down there. Northampton moving up a bit, Burton, you know, maybe not quite out of it just yet. And then you've got like the middle bunch, you know, the MK Dons who are on good form right now. You've got Fleetwood who are in there, Crewe. So they are, you know, relatively my predictions for this weekend. Let me know down below if you agree. If you're new to the channel, please remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, I will see you later. Thanks very much for watching. Up the Cods.